Yeah,
right,
so
well,
talking about Flowboost, the strategy, I've been using a bit of a strategy with Flowboost using PMax. And I think I spoke about this in a meeting a couple of weeks ago. So I'm using I've got an account and I've got multiple PMax campaigns and I've got multiple standard shopping and search campaigns. And I'm running Flowboost and I've got obviously your over index and your index, depending on your settings, are the products that you want to push more. So inside my PMax campaign, I call it best performers, I'll have one asset group with my over index and index and leave it. And that'll just dynamically change depending on which tag's moving around. But then what I do is I'll have a look at a 14-day window, go into the products. See if I can pull it up.
Colby, while Glen's trying to pull stuff up, for people that might not know Flowboost things,
if you don't know and you're looking at me,
give us the quick and dirty.
Let's see if I even know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Flowboost is a script that you put into, once again, you see we talk a lot about scripts, that you use in Google Ads Manager. And what it does is it allows you to create like a ROAS or CPA threshold. And based on that threshold, it will assign products into different categories or indexes. And so what you can then do is have campaigns for those different indexes. And so most often we will, you'll have your good performers campaign, which is usually like your over index, at index, and near index. And then you'll have either a zombies or no index campaign, which items that aren't getting a lot of visibility. Of course, you want to put the budget up. And then there's an underperformers. You do whatever the heck you want with that. But it just puts out these different indexes. You continually run the script. The script looks at the last 30 or however many days you input. And based on that, each day or whenever you run the script, based on performance, the products will move across your campaigns because it updates the, what the heck is that called? Label. Yep, the label. All right. Now, without further ado, Glen Wilson's new strategy.
So I've got a PMax campaign, call it best performers. One asset group has my over index and index tags. Then I create a second asset group. And then I'll pull up a 14-day window and I'll do this every 14 days. And I'll look at, so I'm inside the Google account and then you put in what is the metric that you consider a good metric that you want. Like what's your, that's what I really, really want. So for this account, it's a 3 ROAS. So I then filter everything that's got a conversion value cost of 3 or over for the last 14 days. Then I can see all my, under custom label 2, I've got all my indexes. Now I know that my first asset group has got all my over and index. Then all I do is I sort by conversion value cost, and anything that is near, under, I then get those IDs and I manually add them to the second asset group inside the best performers every 14 days. So you'll see here in this one, there's 27 products. And so every 14 days, I'll manually move anything that's under and over into that second asset group. I leave the over index and index, I just leave it because that's dynamically going to populate. And then I'm forcing anything that's getting really good performance in the short term, and I'm forcing that into the best performance campaign, even though it hasn't been labeled as over index or index yet.
Because it's close. Things are happening.
Well, there's not enough data in there, but what I want to do is if I can see something that's taken off, like this campaign here, this product spent 20 for 378. It's only had one conversion, but imagine if I could force it to get more in the interim. So I'm going on the front foot and I'm going, hey, Google, what about these? Give this more, because it's got more. Now, these change, like every 14 days, these change. They just move in and out of profitability. But when you're getting products that, like might get a couple of short-term conversions, then you can go, oh, let's see if we can get more conversions out of that product. But it just hasn't been labeled yet as an index or over index. So that's the strategy. And I've been using on this brand now for probably a couple of months, and it's one of the best performing campaigns, to be honest.
And to think if that was like living in your maybe no index campaign, and maybe you know, you're so focused on your good performers campaign, you don't invest the time or energy, because I think it's really hard to, you know, sometimes we just forget about what's there. So it's a good way to keep that onus on you and make sure you're putting getting to the right spot at the right time, because then you should be able to
it does
even
fluctuate. I did make some fairly major changes in here in the campaigns, but it does fluctuate. But when I want to force data to products, that's the strategy that I'm using. And long term, what are we looking at there? Yeah, okay, it's at 250. So I've squeezed more performance out of things that are over. Like all the other products, they're moving in and out of the buckets, but this is pretty profitable for this brand. And I've been able to spend $23,000 extra on those products to make another 60.
That's nice.
whip, whip, wham, peanut butter and jam.
That is not a saying that anyone says.
Everyone's saying it. I've got the Riz, and I talk to the kids.
Skibbity.
Did they say skippity?
Yes.
My kids are still pretty young, so.
Yeah, maybe Skibbity's on its way out now, but I think.
Well, thanks for all of our bros for subscribing.
Oh gosh, let's not go down the Gen Alpha slang.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
good chats
that's
today
it
with Mr. Wilson. That's all we got, because
and
now
maybe we'll get
everyone's
Glen,
brains are probably melted.
All right, this is our big grand intro here. Big joyous announcement for the world that we have the lovely, the one and only Glen Wilson joining us.